Are you thinking about moving to Monroe, North Carolina, but want to know some of the best areas to move to in terms of neighborhoods and suburbs and which areas you may want to avoid? Well, in this video today, we're going to cover the top 5 neighborhoods for families in Monroe, North Carolina, which is a suburb of Charlotte. And stick around to the end because I'm also going to give you one area that you probably want to avoid due to safety and crime. My name is James Lanius. This is my wife Madeline, and I'm a real estate agent here in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as the upper part of South Carolina. And I get calls, texts, and emails every single day from folks just like you looking to move to our area. So be sure to reach out via phone, text, or email, which you can find in my YouTube banner. They're also in my description below, and we can help you get started on your real estate journey.
Yeah, and lastly, if you're looking for everything Charlotte and upstate South Carolina, the good, the bad, and everything in between, please do us a favor and subscribe to our channel and like this video. It'll help us out so much. Now let's dive into some of the best and worst neighborhoods in Monroe, North Carolina.
All right, let's do it. So first of all, I want to mention Monroe, North Carolina as a whole. It is a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about, I'd say, 45 minutes without traffic from the uptown center of Charlotte. Also within about an hour of most areas surrounding Charlotte and most areas in the upper part of South Carolina. So you get a good mix. It has a very historic, trendy downtown area. It's awesome. So definitely check that out if you're ever in the area.
So the first neighborhood that we're going to cover is Lakeview Estates. It's right near, or it is in southeast Monroe, right next to the Monroe High School to the north. So if you have any kids high school age, that's very helpful. It also backs up to Monroe Country Club, which is out east from Lakeview Estates.
Yep.
And it also, maybe one of the most exciting things, it's about 5 to 7 minutes from downtown Monroe. And downtown Monroe is so beautiful. Like every single building and house you see is so pretty. There's so many fun things to do, coffee shops, little boutiques, you name it. Just all the fun little small town, downtown things. And also Lakeview, or Lake Lee, borders to the south as well.
Yep, so you get lake access there, which is awesome. It's not a huge lake, it's pretty small, but a lot of folks in the community like it. Now the real estate side of Lakeview Estates, so the median sales price is $399,000. The homes range from 1970 and 1991 build. There were actually no recent home sales here. There's no current home sales here, meaning it's probably a pretty sought after community, which I believe it is. There's a lot of amenities in the community too for families, like there's a clubhouse, there's a pool, of course you have the lake. You have a lot of community open areas, so really a great vibe for families. In terms of crime, so according to crimegrade.org, it's pretty safe in terms of general safety. For example, it has a B grade on crimegrade.org, so that's pretty good. It's not an A, but it's not, a D or an F, so really pretty safe overall for families.
So the second neighborhood we're going to talk about is called St. John's Forest. It's in East Monroe as well. It's pretty close by to the Monroe Regional Airport, that's to the north, and the Rocky River Elementary is to the east. So once again, if you have kids elementary age this time, it's a great option for their schools. It's also 12 minutes from downtown Monroe, so not quite as close as the other neighborhood, but still that's not bad, honestly. And like I said, downtown Monroe is beautiful.
Yep, quick drive, so you're not going to go very far to get to the downtown area. Now in terms of real estate, $336,000 median sales price, so you're lower than Lakeview Estates, so I think this is actually the most affordable neighborhood out of the ones we're talking about. That's a pretty decent median sales price. These homes are actually newer as well than the ones in Lakeview Estates. They're ranging from 2003 to 2021. There are actually 2 homes for sale here currently as well. 3-bedroom for $385,000 for sale currently, and there's also a 5-bedroom for sale for $437,000. If you want more info on these, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share those listings with you. Now, amenities wise, there's a community pool as well, a playground, walking trails. There's also a clubhouse and common area. So you have lots of options in the community for family fun. Now, in terms of safety, this is one of the safest ones we're going to cover. It has an A rating on crimegrade.org, meaning it doesn't have a lot of crime. There's not a lot of property crime, violent crime, or any of that. So great option to look into.
Third neighborhood we're gonna go into is called Hilton Meadows. It is in North Monroe this time, and it's right by a Rolling Hills Country Club.
Beautiful country club. It's a private one.
Ooh, fancy.
Fancy.
It's also under 5 minutes from a Walmart Supercenter and Aldi. So if you shop at either of those, which I think do.
Yeah,
Maybe not Aldi
we
anymore,
know
but-
that's big for families. So.
Oh yes, definitely you need to go there for sure. It's also 11 minutes from historic downtown Monroe, so once again, a little bit less than the neighborhood before, a little bit more than the first neighborhood, but not bad at all.
On the real estate side, the median sales price for this neighborhood is $361,000, and similar to the last one, St. John's Forest, these homes range from 2005 to 2021, so pretty new.
Wow, okay.
And there's no homes for sale here currently, so pretty in demand. As you'll notice with a lot of these, there's not a lot of homes for sale because these are really well sought after neighborhoods because of the family friendliness, because of the safety, and the proximity to downtown Monroe. Now there's no pool or clubhouse in this one, unlike the other four we're covering. But there is I guess, presence of a lot of large lots, so you're gonna have a lot of room to spread out. It's in terms of busy streets, there's really not any in this neighborhood. They're really quiet and secluded, so great for families. Now, in terms of crime and safety, this one is rated a B+ on crimegrade.org, so really a safe area for families, friendly suburban family vibe in this area.
So the next neighborhood we're going to cover is called Bridgewater. It is southeast Monroe this time, directly south of Lakeview Estates. So that's the first one we covered. It's also bordered on the north and east by Lake Lee, which was also by another one that we covered. It's right by Monroe Country Club, right by Monroe High School. So once again, you've got lots of great options with all of these neighborhoods that we've covered, of schools with pretty much, high school and elementary age. It's also 5 to 7 minutes from downtown Monroe, which is super close. So it's really, you can walk there, bike there, whatever.
Yeah, and this one's more of a premier community, being right on and right next to Lake Lee. So the median sales price is a whopping $525,000, which is over $150,000 more than some of the ones we just talked about. So these are more esteemed estates here. The community is definitely a little bit more pricey in terms of HOA. And these homes range 2001 to 2007, so not brand new, but they're really well established, a really established community overall. No homes for sale here currently. This neighborhood is pretty sought after. Similar to the others, there's a pool, clubhouse, playgrounds. There's even walking trails near the lake, lake and green spaces, and also a very safe suburban family vibe. It's also a B rating on crimegrade.com in terms of safety, just like Lakeview Estates, which we talked about, which Madeline mentioned is directly to the north of this. So
the next one we're going to talk about is called the Oaks at Camden. This is in northeast Monroe, and so Lake Twitty to west and Stewart's Creek is to the south.
Yep.
And it's about 15 minutes from downtown Monroe, so a little bit more, but still not too bad.
Yeah, it's a little more out there. The median sales price on this one is kind of in the middle of the ones we talked about at $445,000. So you're not way low, you're not way too high. The homes range from 2014 to 2021, so really pretty newer homes in the last 10 years or so. There's one home for sale here currently, which is a really beautiful home. I just looked at the listing. It's a 4-bed, 2.5 bath home, has almost 2,800 square feet, but that includes a bonus room and an office. So you're really getting a lot with this one, and you get a lot of space, a lot of bedrooms. In terms of amenities, there's a community pool, clubhouse, playground, walking trails, and community green spaces like several of the other neighborhoods we talked about. And this one scores top of the list in terms of safety. You cannot get any safer, according to crimegrade.com. This is an A+. So all you 4.0 students out there, this is as good as you can get. There's really not really much crime that goes on here at all, according to Crime Grade. And I will say, though, that the area to the south of here, I looked and I noticed that the areas around the lake there were more of a B-, so still really a good grade, but the areas to the south are a little bit higher, not too much. Okay, now we covered the 5 most esteemed family-friendly neighborhoods for families in Monroe, and now I want to talk about some areas to avoid in Monroe. These are some higher crime areas and some of Monroe's higher density areas. Now, this neighborhood I want to mention specifically, which is one of the highest crime and lowest in terms of family friendliness, is the neighborhood area near downtown Monroe. This is just south of Roosevelt Boulevard and north of the railroad tracks, just south of Winchester Avenue, if you look on a map. Now, as I mentioned, the crime rate is a lot higher in these areas, especially in the denser parts with a lot of rental properties. Folks aren't heavily established. A lot of them don't care as much about the area. Not to say if you're renting that's a bad thing, but in terms of these areas, it's a little bit lower income. Now, the access to family-friendly amenities, that's another reason this isn't really super family-friendly, because there's not a ton of parks, not a ton of playgrounds nearby, so you really don't have a lot of options in terms of, you know, what to do with your kids other than walking to downtown Monroe. But some of the areas you walk through, depending on where you're at, might not be the best, so it could be best to drive if you do end up settling in this part of town. And these neighborhoods are actually given a low D to even an F in some places on crimegrade.org. So just like I talked about, the last one was as good as you can get in Monroe. This one's as bad as you can get in Monroe. So make sure you stay in touch with a realtor or an agent in this area to know what areas are the best, which areas are the worst, because sometimes it's just streets that divide certain areas that are just a little bit rough. So reach out if you need a realtor to give you some recommendations. I'm always happy to help.
Okay, well, we hope this look at Monroe's neighborhoods helps you find the best fit for your family. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe for more insights on the Carolina market. Whether you're planning to move in 1 or 100 days, we'd love to help guide you through the process.
Yeah, and once again, I get calls, texts, and emails all the time from folks like you looking to move here, looking to sell their home here in the Carolina region, specifically Charlotte, the upper part of South Carolina, which is where we live. And reach out, because we really want to help you, guide you through this real estate journey. It's difficult to do on your own, so reach out today, and we look forward to showing you around town very soon.